Thank you, Mr. Holliburn, and it's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship this afternoon. And I'd like to thank the Honourable Lady, the member for Bethnal Green and Bow, for bringing the adequacy of funding for local government authorities during COVID to the House, as it raises a much-needed debate on both the role of local governments in the crisis effort and the broader interaction between local and national governments. It was important that any central government approach to crisis management throughout the pandemic was measured against three key performance indicators. The first was to provide adequate financial support to ensure crucial local government services could continue. The second, to equip local governments with the tools and flexibility that they required to adapt their services, to provide targeted support within their relevant jurisdictions. And finally, any such support did not create a precedent that should serve to create further burden on an already overloaded state apparatus. In my constituency alone, Wakefield, figures as of the 23rd of October, without taking into consideration the latest round of business grants, highlight that Wakefield Council received an extra £41.52 million to support its efforts in tackling COVID-19. This ensured that despite decreased tax revenues, the higher costs incurred by the pandemic, critical services could continue. In April, £850 million of social care grants for both children and adults were paid up front to cover the period from April to June 2020. Whilst figures that have been provided by central government may not have been delivered on a like-for-like basis, Her Majesty's Government has provided unprecedented sums of money to local authorities which facilitated their ability to use discretion in targeting the needs of their districts as they see fit. In a crisis, ring-fencing funds for one service may not be appropriate when jobs are at risk and the landlord needs his rent paying, for example, and decisions made on the best information that is available at one point in time. Where further support was required, it was provided. One such example was the £617 million discretionary fund that served as an addendum to the Small Business Rates Relief Grant and Retail, Leisure and Hospitality Grants, and allowed local authorities to distribute further monies as they saw fit to businesses in need. At the time, I suggested that any underspend from the Small Business Rates Relief Grant and RL8 grants should be combined with the discretionary grant as a method through which individuals who had been defined as the economically excluded could receive much-needed support on a case-by-case basis.